Welcome to another episode of the No Gimmicks podcast. I'm Dale Clifford. Going a little bit solo this time as we kind of focus a little bit more on a Northern Nevada event here, and I'm going to go one-on-one with Cory Dayton in an interview because any other form, I think he might take me in that one. So just let's go ahead and one thing that we kind of that Todd wanted to mention was our careers, like in everything with you, is kind of went a little bit full circle. He was there when you kind of began your career in a match with Adam Thornstowe, who obviously we all know through the Reno Wrestle Factory, and you guys are good friends. And then kind of where it became full circle is the fact that you, along with Adam and Dave and everybody, kind of became our trainers. So I just kind of wanted to, do you still kind of remember those early days of your career?
Yeah, they were fun. I think specifically about that match, what I remember was getting kicked in the face, and I wasn't really shooken up from that, but I remember after the match was over, I could not find the locker room, and I was just walking around, and it was still to this day, it's kind of embarrassing to think about it, but that was always funny that I was walking around after the match. The next match already begun, and people started walking out before I found the locker room.
So what kind of made you want to pursue professional wrestling?
I would have to say the first time I ever saw wrestling, it was at my grandpa's house. I remember Hogan sliding into the ring and Sergeant Slaughter hitting him with a chair, and I just was immediately intrigued. Now, I grew up in a house full of women, so watching wrestling was a struggle, but every week I had it on, and, by the time I got to high school, I had my mindset, that's what I want to be. Told him, and guidance counselor and everything. That's what I wrote down on career day. Got made fun of, but you know what? When you want to do something bad enough, you're going to make it happen. So that's what I set my mind to.
Where did you? Who trained you? Where'd you learn to?
It's kind of funny. We all started off wrestling in the backyard, and by chance, Brian Brigger showed up in the backyard one day, and if you remember him, his claim to fame was Papa Shango lighting his boots on fire. So he started training us, and it kind of all went from there. We trained a little bit in PCW with Primetime and Schizo. So Mustafa Saeed. We have a lot of mixture of training, so it was pretty good.
Who would you say, or what would you say is your favorite match or your favorite person to work with?
Probably you're putting me on the spot here. Favorite match, it's got to be anything with Chupacabra. I think we did a hardcore match at the bowling stadium that still ranks up as one of my favorite. As far as people to work with, obviously Chupacabra, Adam Thornstowe is awesome to work with, Luster. Worked one with Ryan McQueen, and he was a great worker. There's a bunch of guys, Vinny Massaro. I don't want to leave anybody out, but yeah. Paul Isadora, working the big man. That's about it, I guess.
So you've had many different characters in your career. A couple that come to mind are Delicious Dick Dayton and Hard Cory Dayton.
Yeah.
Kind of heelish in their tactics. So would you kind of say that you like working more as a heel than a face?
I think in life it's a lot easier to get somebody to not like you than it is to get somebody to like you. I kind of just found my niche with being a bad guy and getting under people's skin. I think growing up in a house full of women, I always was deviling my sisters. So I always had that talent. So going out there in the crowd and irritating people and finding that one thing that gets under their skin, it's always been a talent of mine, I guess. I enjoy it.
You've also dabbled in a little bit of tag team wrestling with Malachi as Big and Tasty, and then also early in the PCW career, you were with Austin Avalon as Good and Plenty.
Yeah.
So would you say it's like you liked working more as a tag team or as a singles wrestler?
They both have their perks. Obviously, when you're working tag, you don't have to have the cardio that you would in a singles match. I like singles matches, though. They're fun. I mean, one-on-one, you get to control the flow of the match, but there's also an awesomeness to working with somebody in there that you have chemistry with as a tag team. Obviously, Adam and I it was fun working as a tag team there. I didn't think that lasted long enough. Malachi and myself, I don't think we ever really hit the potential that we had before, both of us, before I got hurt and everything.
So who would you say would have been a dream opponent for you? Just like major promotion or indie that you could have wished that you could have had a match with?
Ooh, I would have loved to work Bret Hart. I mean, that's my hero. I would have probably stunk it up in there, but it would have been awesome to get in the ring with Bret. He's a great technical wrestler, and I could have learned a lot from him.
So over the last couple of years, is like your career has kind of slowed. Just like you really are kind of only coming out for the Headlock on Hunger events, which is the biggest part of why we're kind of doing this interview. So I just kind of wanted to so what made you want to take on the endeavor of doing the Headlock on Hunger and just kind of trying to get into the food drive aspect?
Honestly, it's personal experience. We had done it, I think, back in 2011. We did it on a smaller scale, and then every year after that, I kind of had the tugging on the heart to do it, but I never had the courage to get up off my butt and step outside of my comfort zone. I think it was July of last year, I think a Wednesday night. Out of the blue, it was on my mind, so I text Paul Isadora, like, hey, did you guys have something planned this year? He's like, no. So I'm like, okay, I'm going with it. And it kind of just all snowballed from there. But as far as personal experience goes, a few years back, I was in the middle of a messy divorce. When you put your life in the judge's hands, a lot of bad things can happen. I'm not dogging on the family court system. I understand why it is the way it is, but ultimately I was put in a financial position where I couldn't feed my kids anymore. So luckily somebody at the time stepped up and made sure that my kids never went hungry, made sure we had presents under the tree. So this is kind of the inspiration. My kids inspire me. It's a lot of work, but it's one of those things that's I'm really passionate about. So it makes it a lot easier.
Where do you think is the biggest challenge of trying to put on the event?
Oh, man. Honestly, there's so many challenges and hurdles and stuff like that. I mean, there's a stigma with professional wrestling, especially in Reno. A lot of people, this town is really fickle when it comes to professional wrestling. So I've always tried to push the cause to get people through the door. And then when they see the product, they're going to want to come back, because the guys we put out there are incredible performers, and I'll stand behind their product all day long. But yeah, getting people to come to a professional wrestling event, that's one of the biggest hurdles right there, because it's seen as, you know, barbaric and stuff like that in nature, but it's all entertainment at the end of the day.
So what are some ways that people can help out outside of attending the event?
We have a citywide food drive right now. A lot of the barrels are getting delivered. If you go to hohnv.com right now, there's a map of where you can donate your non-perishable goods. If you can't go to the event, you can go online, purchase a ticket. All the funds are going to the Food Bank of Northern Nevada. So each ticket's $5. Every ticket will provide 15 meals for the less fortunate. So you can do you can help us out there. We've set a goal of 10,000 pounds of food and 10,000 meals. So the food drive, I have no doubt that we're going to hit the goal. We have close to 60 locations in town this year. And as far as the 10,000 meals, that's another story, but I have faith that it's going to be accomplished as well.
So we do have some viewers from all parts of the country. So what's kind of some of the advice that you can give to them, and just like ways to try to give back?
Check out your local food bank, your local situation. I mean, in our area alone, 1 in 4 children are going hungry, and that's probably a widespread problem countrywide. And especially here, it's just going to get worse. So get up and make a difference. A lot of division in this country right now, and it's kind of sad that it takes a tragedy or a natural disaster for people to start coming together. But if there's something wrong out there, be proactive about it. Go out and donate your time, donate your money, and make a difference.
So just one more time, where can people go to get more information on Headlock on Hunger?
It's HOHNV.com. And we're also on Facebook. If you, I think it's /HOH and spell out Nevada. I'm sure you'll put all those in the description.
It's like we'll get it there. Also, and before we go, it's like baseball playoffs are going. I know you were a huge St. Louis Cardinal fan.
Yeah. Baseball's over.
that was going to be part of it. It's like I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, so that was going to be part of my question. Is like now that the Cardinals, like the Giants, aren't in the postseason, is basically, and you kind of just answered it. Baseball's over. You don't really.
I'm following it. There's some interesting teams right now. Obviously, Houston and Cleveland. They've got some hungry people out there, and just watching Altuve the other night hitting 3 home runs. It's like shades of Reggie Jackson. So I love this time of year, especially when the Cardinals are in. But it's a lot less stressful when they're not.
So is there anybody you don't want to see win?
Cubs. Every year.
I figured you were kind of be on that same guidelines as like I'm the Dodgers.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't want the Dodgers to win either.
So let's see. Well, just one more time is like give all the information is like of websites and social media accounts where everybody can reach out and try to help the Food Bank of Northern Nevada or the Headlock on Hunger.
So the main website's HOHNV.com. You can reach us at Instagram at Headlock on Hunger. Facebook is HOH Nevada spelled out. And November 18th at Reed High School. Doors open at 7. You can get tickets online. They're available now. And there's going to be a lot of cool stuff there. We have a raffle. Quite a few prizes this year. We're going to have face painting for the children, and it's looking like we're going to have a one-night tournament. So not only are you going to get to make a difference, you're going to get to see some great action as well. And on top of that, all the guys that are working the show, all the wrestlers are working for free. So come out and support them. They're putting their bodies on the line for free for a good cause, and you should all appreciate that.
Who do we got locked in so far?
Oh, see, you're making me think too much. There's a lot of head injuries. Chupacabra, the Reno Scum are going to be there. Carl Fredericks, Chocolate Poppy Steicher, Bison Braddock. Ooh, Ryan McQueen will be making his return. Wolfgang Danger also coming back to the ring. And there's a few others. I think I put it on the website already.
Yeah, it's like we've had Adam on. We're still hoping to try to get Adam and Dave together. It's like we've had Carl on, and we've had Steicher. So it's like now we've had Cory. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. And please, again, is like kind of the main focus on this one is please, especially now, is like let's all come together. Let's look out for one another. Give back to your community. I'm Dale Clifford. With Cory Dayton. This has been the No Gimmicks Podcast. So you can find us on Facebook at the No Gimmicks Podcast, on Twitter at the No Gimmicks PC. Please like this episode, subscribe to our show, share this one so that we can get the message out there to try to give back, help one another, and we'll see you next time.